Hi, you are listening to the Perio Podcast, and I am Dr. Ben Young, a periodontist in San Antonio, Texas. And the reason you are listening, at least up to this point, is because you thought this was some other podcast and clicked on it by mistake, or you know me personally, most likely as one of my patients, which is the group this podcast is really produced to reach, or someone sent this to you, in which case I'm sorry about that. I have people like this in my life too. Or you are a person dealing with mouth problems and through a bit of research have ended up here. Whatever the reason, welcome. The title of this episode, number 83, is Healthy Enough. And I promise by the end, which won't be very long, it will make sense. So just hang in there. I just came across an article about a dental insurance company that wants to rate dentists. Their purpose for doing this is to direct traffic. My concern is that this has really nothing to do with quality care, but simply about some economic purpose of benefit to this particular insurance company. I also think people who are in the search mode on the internet might fall for it, thinking that in some way, this is how you can locate the right person to take care of your particular problems. I think it is sort of new that this desire to rate practitioners is by a dental insurance company, but rankings aren't new at all in our modern marketing culture, especially on the internet. One of the biggest mistakes many dentists are making in this marketing world today is ignoring the power of social media and, even more importantly, the importance of having their own website. By not having a website for the dental practice, it creates opportunities for others to market using their data. Here's what I mean. Let's say someone wants to find a particular dentist, but the dentist doesn't have a website. When the searcher types in that dentist's name, he or she will be taken to a dental directory, which is a commercial website that contains the data of as many dental practices as possible. It may have this dentist's basic information, because that's how that person, the searcher, got there to the website in the first place. But now that they are there, they see other dentists who happen to have ratings and rankings that imply that they would be a better option for what you're looking for than the one who just has a phone number and a street address. It's all marketing. That's what you get when you're searching for something and you find a website that states, here are the top 10, whatever it is you're looking for, in your neighborhood or in the world. And what this does is it draws you to their site. And if you click on anything from that site to look at some product or other website, very likely this site is being paid by the one listed on their site that you clicked to see. It's all going on underneath the curtain. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir for many of you because, after all, you are listening to a podcast, and that's pretty modern. But still, it is worth reminding us all that when we seem to be getting something for nothing, like free help in searching for the right dentist, the reality is we are the product. It's our information being bought and sold in return for this seemingly free service. The ability to search for information is helpful and here to stay. So trying to change it is a waste of time, unless you're an entrepreneur with a powerful business plan and lots of money, which means most of us have to learn how to best navigate it while not allowing it to suck us into believing things that just ain't so. So now, how can you and I figure out what we are to do and where we are to go after we have typed in search words on a search engine and have read all of the reviews and the bios. What's next? Here is my advice for what it's worth. How important all this is depends on who you are. And yes, I'm going to make this binary. You are either one kind of person or the other. You either rely more on experts, even over your own common sense, or you rely more on your own common sense and use experts to make sure you're on the right track. If you are someone who relies heavily on experts, then what you find online has incredible importance. You will spend a great deal of time trying to figure out who online you can follow, who you can trust, and who you can't. But if you're someone who knows how to take care of yourself, then the internet is less of a problem. You won't take it as seriously, and you will navigate it differently. For one thing, I don't think you'll spend as much time with it. And now, let's apply what I've just said in a general way to health and wellness specifically. My health philosophy, if you don't know it by now, is that I am primarily responsible for my own health, and you are primarily responsible for your own health. I will rely on others, including experts, to help me as I seek their input. This allows me to not get so caught up in what I hear or read for any particular or specific source. I'm less inclined to trust credentials and more inclined to gravitate toward those who like to teach and are willing to take the time to explain and make recommendations. I don't like people who tell me what I must or mustn't do. And yes, I'm even comfortable making mistakes, getting things wrong, and then correcting, over trying to never, ever make a mistake. And let me even go a step further about what I personally believe about health and, by contrast, illness or disability. I don't believe in absolute health. I believe in a state of living called healthy enough. As we age, our physical capacities change, so it is unrealistic to compare a healthy 20-year-old to a healthy 60-year-old. Both need to be healthy enough to do the things they need to do. One side of health, I think, is to achieve a level of contentment and happiness. Now, isn't that interesting? Someone can be physically healthy with great blood pressure, cholesterol under control, and the rest, and be miserable. Someone else can live as a quadriplegic and radiate contentment, and yes, even be happy. If the quadriplegic is generally focused on caring about others and how they are doing, along with taking care of themselves the best they can, then I consider them to have achieved a level of healthy enough. Is this ignoring illness and disabilities? No, but it is not permitting disease, illness, and disabilities to define who we are and who we can become. Healthy enough to be happy in life is not easy. In fact, it is a lot of work. This is because happiness can never be the goal. It isn't what we aim for. Happiness is a byproduct. We discover we have it when we're doing the things that bring the most meaning to life and are good for others around us as well. I'm acknowledging here the importance of a healthy social network for mental health, for emotional health, for spiritual health, even for physical health. People who support and encourage one another are the healthiest and happiest people around. Which brings me back to my dental brothers and sisters who are not particularly visible on the internet and whose websites aren't the slickest. Many of them don't care for a very good reason. It is because they have a community of happy patients who refer others to them. They don't live on the internet. So just because someone doesn't have a great website doesn't mean they're not a great dentist. If somebody's told you someone's good and they gave you the phone number and address and you looked it up and that's all you got, I might suggest you go take a visit. And if dentists decide to do more with their websites and the rest, my biggest advice is for them to stay personally involved so that the end product tells their story and shows the public who they really are. They should never allow marketers to define who they are to the public. That's their job, and that's healthy enough. And that's all I've got for today. This has been the Perio Patient Podcast, and I am still Dr. Ben Young. I am wishing you a very good day. Take care. Light travels faster than sound. That's why some people appear bright until you hear them speak. Now go